Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the City of Warrenville City Council regular meeting for, October 17th already, 2016. Going fast. Emily, may I have a roll call, please?
Alderman Ashauer.
Here.
Alderman Berry.
Here.
Alderman Bevere.
Here.
Alderman Davalos.
Here.
Alderman Goodman.
Here.
Alderman Hoffman.
Here.
I know Alderman Widener is coming. I'll mark him late. Alderman Wilson.
Here.
Thank you, Emily. Would you please stand as you're able and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Chief, special occasion tonight. I'll let you lead off.
Thank you, Mayor. Officer Avila, if you're here, if you'd join me, please, and members of your family, you're more than welcome to come on up here. Mayor and members of the council, it's my pleasure to introduce to you Julio Avila, who is to my left. He will be filling a position that was vacated by retirement as a full-time police officer for the city of Warrenville. He is here with his family. A little bit of information about Officer Avila. He attended and graduated from Steinmetz High School in Chicago in 2005. He then attended Wilbur Wright College in Chicago until 2007. He actively serves in the United States Army, Illinois National Guard, as a member of the 1744 Transportation Company. Has recently been promoted to the rank of E5 and attended his basic leader training at Fort Carson, Colorado from September of 2016 till September 30th of 2016. So we welcome him to the police department. He's going to be a wonderful addition. He's got a 1.5 year experience as a police officer in the city of Harvey and has done an extensive amount of research and told me today that he felt Warrenville is going to be a wonderful fit for him to continue his career. So I wanted to introduce him to you and welcome him here to the Warrenville family.
Great. Thank you, Chief.
Can
we move the chairs back?
Yep.
Yeah.
You need the people.
Julio, welcome.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Come on and join Dad. This is a big night. Welcome. We'll get some pictures this way for you. All right. Are you ready? Please raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Julio Avila,
Having been appointed to the office of
have been appointed to the office of
Patrol Officer
Patrol Officer
in the City of Warrenville,
in the city of
the
Warrenville,
County of DuPage,
County of DuPage,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
I will support the Constitution of the United
I will
States,
support the Constitution of the United States,
Constitution of the State of Illinois,
Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
and will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of
of the office of
Patrol Officer
Patrol Officer
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Welcome aboard, Julio.
Sir.
Chief, did you warn, but we have pretty high standards here that when we have a bank robbery, we generally catch them in 5 minutes?
Yeah.
This is for them. Julio, I forgot to give you your card. And you have to sign this too. All these formalities. Next, we have a presentation on the FY 2016 Comprehensive Annual Financial Report by Ann Van Vooreen of Lauerbach and Amon LLP. Ann, welcome.
Good evening. Can you hear me? Do I have to take this off?
Just be close. You can take it out. It's a little better if you do.
Oh, okay. Good evening. Again, my name is Ann Van Vorn, and I'm a manager at Lauterbach and Amon. I'm just here to discuss briefly the financial statements and the CAFR for the fiscal year 2016. I don't know if you have the CAFR in front of you, or I'm sure you received it. Oh, you do? Okay, perfect. So I just wanted to briefly walk through the CAFR. It's divided into 3 different sections. There's the introductory section, where the most important, or one of the pieces in there, is the transmittal letter, which is the letter basically from the city to the residents discussing some highlights that happened during the year. And then that is also where your Certificate of Achievement award from prior year is located. And again, we're going to submit for the CAFR for this year as well. So that's the intro. The financial section, that begins on page 1. And the first thing in there is the audit opinion, and it was a clean audit, unmodified opinion, so there were no changes or discrepancies in the report. Then the next important section is the management discussion analysis, and that's basically like the cliff notes of the financials. If you read that, then you should have a great synopsis of the entire report. Starting on page 3 are the basic, the government-wide statements. So I just wanted to touch base on some of the changes that happened this year. On page 5 and 6, you'll see that the government-wide, or the governmental activities, decreased $980,000, and the business-type activities increased $994,000, and that nets to $14,000. The main change in this year's report is the implementation of GASB 6768, which requires the net pension liability to be recorded on these statements. So we had to record the police pension liability, which was about $10 million, and then the IMRF pension liability, which is about $2 million. This is a standard procedure from the Government Accounting Board, so we had to record it, and that's what the changes that occurred. There was, on page 57, in the required supplementary section, it kind of goes into more detail of these pension liabilities. And it's saying that currently for the police pension, there is a 62% funded. And if you stay the course and make the actuarial current payments by year 2040, everything will be fully funded. And then same section is where the IMRF is located as well. And then I wanted to just briefly discuss some of the fund level statements, which is where some of the budget and actual numbers, actually day-to-day operations happen. So on page, it would be page 10. The general fund increased to $184,000, and so one of the other significant one was the special projects. Capital project had decreased $362,000. So in total, there was a decrease in the funds of $162,000. So those are the basic highlights for the financial section, and then the last section is the statistical section, which just has about 10 years of analysis, different schedules showing different financial or the city-wide kind of statistics. I wanted to thank Kevin for all his hard work helping us get the audit very clean and easily finalized and finished in a very simple matter, all the way from the field work to the very end of the report. Are there any questions that I can answer?
I would ask, first of all, just maybe an executive summary for the average citizen in regular terms, that they would understand the significance of this report, what it exactly means, what you did, and what it means to the community.
The CAFR?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So it's just basically, we start as the audit where we come in and we are just looking at all the financial aspects of the city and double checking, making sure what is recorded is and how it's recorded is correct. And then, so we start from all the way through cash to look at the debt, the capital assets, liabilities, revenues, expenses, all of those areas. And so we get an assurance that everything up here is correct. And then we issue these financial statements, and we have the opinion letter which is our telling everybody that the financials for the city of Warrenville are good.
Okay, so this is an outside set of eyes that comes
Yeah,
in and
yes.
looks at how we handle our
Correct,
financials,
yes.
and you're giving us an absolutely clean bill of health.
Yes.
Great, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Alderman Widener?
Yeah, this might be a question for Director Dahlstrand. Regarding the police pension fund, we determined a few years ago, I don't know how many years back, to kind of increase our level of funding for that area. And although 2040 seems a long way away, could you comment, on how those steps have made the city come closer to being fully funded in this regard?
I sure can. Annually for the last about 4 years or so, we've been contributing into the fund above and beyond what we're required to contribute. That's going to help us reach that goal of making sure that things are 90% funded by 2040. We are ahead of the game in most instances when you compare us to other communities. There are not a lot of communities that do contribute additional into their pension funds. There's some that don't even meet the requirement that they're supposed to do. So we're well ahead of the game when we compare to everybody else.
Thank you. Yes, I understand that a lot of different villages and cities that surround us are very much threatened by the amount of obligation they have to pension funds, and it just shows that I think a good step it was for staff to recommend it and for the council to follow through on increasing that fund delivery to that pension fund so that we do become fully funded for our officers. Also, I appreciate the comments about from you regarding the financial actions being appropriate and above board for the city of Warrenville. And this is an excellent document, I think, for anyone who's interested in city financial matters and the financial health of the city. And I would ask the city administrator where the citizens might go to be able to take a look at the document, in particular the highlights that are presented at the beginning.
The document itself will be available on the website under all the financial documents for the budget and the audit are posted. It will be available after tomorrow. It currently is actually under the agenda online. If somebody's interested in seeing it before tomorrow morning, or before tomorrow sometime. Sorry, Kevin. It is posted with the agenda packet if somebody wants to read the entire document itself. The main highlights that you could pull from it would be in the introduction section and the section that she was mentioning earlier, where you get kind of the gist of the management, the MD&A section.
Yes.
She can tell you what those words stand for.
Go ahead.
But that section will tell you all the highlights of the financial issues in brief. And of course, if anyone has any questions, they can certainly contact our finance department, and I know that our finance director or our staff would be happy to discuss anything with anyone, aldermen or residents alike.
And we certainly have hard copies here at City Hall, if anyone wants to come and look at a hard copy.
Forgot about paper.
Yeah, we have paper too.
I believe the last thing I wanted to mention, I know Director Dahlstrand has another comment he'd like to make, but the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting is presented at the front of this document, and along with your comments, if you could just state, how many years running we've been able to receive that award or certificate. I think it's important for people to realize that.
I just wanted to say first that the CAREFR will be online tonight before I go home. I want it kind of done and over with, in all honesty. No offense to any auditors or anything. We've received the award for 23 consecutive years, long before I was here, and we'll continue to pursue that goal every year that I'm here. I wouldn't have it any other way.
Thank you. I think that's an amazing statement, considering, how many comments sometimes you get from residents and citizens out there that might speculate that, government operates in a different, irresponsible manner fiscally. And I think the city's not only in good fiscal health, but we carry out the details of financial reporting in an excellent manner. Thank you.
Very good. Yeah, 23 years consecutively. And we do have a copy at the library, a hard copy also, if people would like to take a look at it. But basically, we do everything by the book.
Yes.
That's important, very important. Okay, Ann, any other questions for Ann? Alderman Goodman?
Since this is a new auditing firm, I just want to know how it all went.
Well, this is year 2 of the audit with them. It's gone fantastically well. We try very hard to be prepared when they walk in the door, and I think we did a very good job of having everything prepared for them again. They came out, they got right to it, and got everything done. It was really very smooth.
That's very good to hear. And I was wondering if you could maybe give some perspective on how we compare to other towns with which you work.
I definitely think very organized. Kevin definitely gets back to us very quickly when we send him questions, and don't have to follow up with him as much as some other places, so that's always nice. So it helps move the process along when the staff of a city is interested in getting everything finalized. It's a big city, but also not as big as some of our other clients, so it's not overwhelming for staff when they come doing field work, so they can very easily get it done and wrapped up in a week or a few days past a week.
Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Thank you, Ann. We appreciate the report, the good report.
Yes.
Okay, citizens' comments for this evening. One person has signed up, Kathleen Costin. Kathleen, would you come up? You can take it out if you like.
My name's Kathleen Costin. My children came with me tonight to see what's taken so much of my time and to see the local government in action. I just had a couple things I wanted to say. At the last meeting, it was stated that when you are at the gas station, you can't see the townhouses at all. I'm talking about the BP station at the corner of Winfield and Warrenville Road. That is not the case when you are in our homes. You can see the lights that are constantly on, and you can hear the noise that these businesses constantly generate. To add a drive-through will make all of this worse. I recently walked along the fence line, and I think the reason for this is because the part of the trees that are facing south are mainly dead. More trees would help that situation. I do appreciate all the discussion about the fence and agree that in addition, a natural shield of trees will help diminish the effects of what in effect is a fourth business being added to this too small a location will do. You know I'm against this, the noise, the lights, the trash, the traffic, and the safety. I would again urge you to vote no for this proposal. Unfortunately and sadly, I fear this ordinance will probably pass this evening. I just ask you, please follow through and make sure that this business owner sticks to the guidelines that you have set forth for him, keeping the gas station speakers off, having the car wash buzzer and the drive-through speakers at a level no higher than 60 decibels, and building a separate, solid 8-foot fence that stands next to the Cantera Village fence, and that will be shielded by trees. Please have this fence built as far north on that property as possible, which shouldn't be a problem because there really is plenty of room there, and because of the condition of the trees that I already mentioned. Please make sure that the landscape is taken care of better than it is in its current state, and please enforce that construction noise, picking up of the garbage, or mowing the lawn cannot begin until 7 a.m. or I believe it's 8 a.m. on weekends, which is the City of Warrenville noise ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathleen. Okay, onward and upward to official and staff comments. I have nothing to add this evening, clerk. Okay, treasurer's not here. Alderman? Alderman Widener?
I just wanted to mention something that I saw in the weekly report, that the city will be seeking a consultant to provide Phase 1 engineering services to create a new left turn lane into the Target parking lot off of Deal Road to relieve congestion at that site. And the second, which is my personal favorite, to create a 10-foot wide bike path on the south side of Mack Road, east of Route 59. Both of these projects were awarded surface transportation funding or grants that will cover 70 to 75% of the construction costs. And I'd like to thank staff for their eager involvement in tracking down these funding sources and grants and things like that. I think they do a very good job of making applications and pursuing grants, and it's great to see that 2 projects have been successful, and we will be awarded funding for those. They're both needed projects and will benefit the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. Alderman Goodman?
Yes, I attended the local government breakfast at the Community Unit School District 200 held last week, along with several other people here. I just wanted to point out 1 or 2 things that was mentioned at that event. First of all, the District 200, which is continuing to work on its facilities master plan, is going through a survey process that they've just completed and presented the information about. That information is on the school district's website, and there's a lot of good information there if people are interested in finding out about people's feedback to the schools within the community about what their vision for the future should be, and especially some of their financial consequences of this new facilities master plan and what that's going to mean for everybody who lives in District 200 going forward. So for anybody who's interested in that, please contact District 200 with your questions, and please take a look at the wide information that they have now made available from the survey on their website. And secondly, they talked a lot about their accomplishments this past year. They've increased their ACT scores, and they're very proud of their 2 blue ribbon schools. 2 of the elementary schools in District 200 received a nationwide award recognizing the excellence in education. And I think it's important to sometimes remember that we do live in a community that has an excellent school district that's providing a great education for our kids and for our neighbors. And it's something we should take a lot of pride in. And I know we don't spend a lot of time at city council meetings addressing school issues because that's their business and not ours so much, but I think it deserves some recognition too. So thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. Alderman Berry?
I just wanted to say thank you to the Warrenville Historical Society. Last night they put on their cemetery walk, and this year's theme was streets in the city of Warrenville. And what they had done is they had gone back and they found actual relatives of some of the names of the streets in our town, like Galusha and Ferry and Rogers, and some of these families go back in town as far back as the late 1700s, so it was pretty amazing. But the Historical Society does a wonderful job every year, and it was a little warm last night, so the mosquitoes were out, but I think everybody had a really good time, and I want to thank them for all the hard work that they did and the just the dedication that they have in preserving the history of the city of Warrenville. So thank you to the Historical Society.
Thank you, Alderman. Anyone else? Okay, Administrator.
Thank you. I just want to make a really quick comment. 2 weeks ago, the council quietly adopted TIF number 4, and then the next day, staff dove into all the things that go along with developing that. We really didn't take it was actually pointed out to me, we didn't take a moment to even really contemplate what that meant, or just a few seconds to even celebrate a major milestone accomplishment that was. It's part of our economic development plan, part of our strategic plan, a long, long process that was very involved legally, technically, involves input from all the overlapping districts and a lot of hard work on the part of staff. So I wanted to mention that 2 weeks later, there was a lot of other things on the agenda that night, and we had a lot of things to do the next day and the day before, so sometimes we forget to stop and take note of those things. Ron Menser, community development staff, did a tremendous amount of work in that process, along with our attorneys and our advisors and other people on staff that supported that. I shouldn't forget to mention Natalia Domova-Sova did a great deal of the work leading the effort to the Southwest District Planning, of which some of the aldermen up here and I were part of that process, but they did the lion's share of the work. And so thank you to the staff and the elected officials in the overlapping districts and everyone for supporting that. Now the real work begins. It's a major milestone. We have a lot of things for the next 23 years to work on, very hard on that. But I wanted to make note of that, and we'll be posting something this week. Our goal is on our social media, on Facebook, so we can let citizens know about that in a very layman-friendly way to explain TIF. Thank you.
Thank you, John. That's a great comment. And I would just add that if anyone has questions about a TIF in general or this particular TIF and what the purpose of a TIF is and how it can be used successfully, any of us would be happy to talk to you about that and explain exactly what that tool means and how it makes it possible to take areas that are very difficult to develop and get them developed in a positive way over a long period of time. So again, if you have questions, let any of us know. We'll be happy to sit down with you or talk with you on the phone or email back and forth, whatever it takes. Okay, Attorney.
I have nothing tonight. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, David. We'll move on then to the agenda for this evening. Alderman Widener.
I move to approve the agenda for the October 17th, 2016 City Council regular meeting.
Second.
Second by Alderman Wilson. Any changes? Alderman Hoffman?
Yeah, I'd like to remove 6A.
Okay. 6A, okay. Alderman Davalos?
Yes. In addition to 6A, I would like to remove 6G.
G. Okay, anyone else? Did the motioner or seconder agree to those changes? Okay, so we have a motion for approval of an amended agenda, consent agenda for this evening. Have you got everything, Emily?
Alderman Davalos, did you say G as in George?
G as in George.
Thank you.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the agenda is approved as amended. We have several sets of minutes that need approval also. Alderman Widener?
I move to approve the minutes of the October 3rd, 2016 City Council regular meeting, to approve the minutes of the October 3rd, 2016 City Council closed session, and to approve the minutes of the October 10th, 2016 Public Safety Committee of the Whole meeting.
Second.
Second by Alderman Wilson. Any discussion of those minutes? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. The minutes are approved. The consent agenda as amended for this evening reads, item 6B, accept Public Safety Committee recommendation, waive second reading, and pass ordinance number 3039, authorizing the disposal of city-owned property through an auction conducted by Obanoff Auction Services Incorporated. C, accept Public Safety Committee recommendation, waive second reading, and pass ordinance number 3040, amending City Code Title 4, Chapter 3, Section 1-13, paren E, paren offenses related to drugs, and Section 17, paren E, drug paraphernalia control. D, accept staff recommendation and pass resolution 2016-28 approving release and settlement agreement between the City of Warrenville, Thomas Bellinger, and Ina Greer. E, accept staff recommendation and pass resolution 2016-29 approving right of first refusal and option agreements for purchase of real property between the City of Warrenville and Joan M. Aletto for the vacant property on Batavia Road just west of Butterfield Road. F, accept Public Safety Committee recommendation to approve the Public Works service levels and staffing study recommendations dated October 5th, 2016, and direct staff to proceed with the implementation of the recommendations, including the preparation of a decision package for the management analyst position to be considered with FY 2018 budget. H, receive and file the FY 2016 Comprehensive Annual Financial Report. L, HI, receive and file Approve minutes of the Bicyclist and Pedestrian Advisory Commission, regular meeting held September 14th, 2016. J, receive and file approved minutes of the Tourism and Arts Commission regular meeting held April 14th, 2016. K, receive and file report of invoices paid up to October 12th, 2016 in the amount of $37,593.14. L, authorize expenditures for invoices due on or before November 7th, 2016 in the amount of $316,216.03. And M, receive and file report of debit card expenditures for the month of September 2016 in the amount of $4,395.22. Alderman Widener,
Move to approve the agenda as presented by Mayor Brummel.
Second.
second by Alderman Wilson. May I have a roll call, please?
Alderman Berry.
Aye.
Alderman Goodman.
Aye.
Alderman Widener.
Aye.
Alderman Hoffman.
Aye.
Alderman Bevere.
Aye.
Alderman Davalos.
Aye.
Alderman Ashour.
Aye.
Alderman Wilson.
Aye.
Thank you. Only we'll return to the two items then that were removed from the consent agenda. Item 6A, Alderman Hoffman, do you wish to bring that forward?
Waive second reading and pass ordinance 3038 approving a major PUD amendment, parking and signage. PUD exceptions, variations, and a drive-through special use permit. 28 West 125 Warrenville Road with condition number 11, revised as outlined in October 11th, 2016, memo from Senior Planner Domo Vanessa. Yeah.
Second.
Second discussion, Alderman Hoffman?
I walked that property today, and Ron had said that really couldn't move that fence to the top of the berm. I disagree. All we'd really need to do is have them cut the branches off the back sides of those trees 8 foot up, and we could put that fence another 30 to 36 inches higher for the residents next to it. I think it'd make a big difference. In that situation, 36 inches will maximize the height of that 8 foot fence. I think we should add that into the ordinance in order to, because once that fence is there, they have to maintain it. That'll be a permanent improvement. The trees, you'll notice some of the trees there, they have that fungus on them, those pine trees, and they're starting to lose their needles. They'll eventually be dead. They'll need to be replanted anyhow. And the other effect it'll do is there'll be more room between the gas station's fence and the subdivision's fence, so they could put more trees in between there that may grow taller over time and fence off, buffer the area a little bit more. I think that's something we should do. It costs very little more, minimal as far as just cutting the branches off. 8 foot up, put the fence. I don't know if you have to see it's on the side of a berm. I don't know if you have to put longer fence posts in there, but I think the little bit extra work would be well worth it for the residents next door. Thank you.
Okay. Alderman Davalos?
Thank you. Yes, I will be voting no on this, and I talked about this last week, so I won't go into all the reasons of that, but in a nutshell, I'm just concerned about the traffic, not just the volume, but the configuration, I think, is going to be tough. We were sent pictures by a citizen of large semis and large trucks in that business in the morning. This isn't going to be a problem all day long, but I think there are certain times when it's just going to be not the safest place to get in and out of. I think it's awkward to get in and out of it sometimes now, although people locally know how to negotiate it. I think we're just adding more problems onto that. I think we talked last week about professional studies being done, and we have to go with those. And I think we had good people doing those studies. I just don't agree completely with the conclusions. So on page 2, it talks about the city saying, we do not object to the site access and the circulation patterns. I personally do object to them. And so I've gone over there, I've thought about this. I just don't think this is the best situation. And to get here, we had to have variances to do this, which I think may be adding to some of the problems. So I'm just not comfortable with it right now, and so I'll be voting no.
Okay. Additional discussion? Alderman Goodman?
I've given some consideration to the other Dunkin' Donuts in town and the process that we went through when that drive up was approved. And I remember thinking at the time that, it was going to be a not very nice looking thing because it's along the back of a long strip mall center, and everyone was going to be driving next to the dumpsters in the back and this long back up, and it's right next to the fence that's on the property line between the strip mall and the residences, and it's much, much closer in that location to people's houses than this proposed Dunkin' Donuts drive-through would be. And I think I've come to the conclusion that although, there are obviously some very important concerns here, and that I do think that, continued vigilance to make sure that conditions are met, and that's why we have this process, and that's why we've gone through, I guess it's about, 12 or 13 different meetings and steps in the process to get through to this point between the applicant and city staff and our traffic engineer and our plan commission review. I think that voting no would be treating this property owner differently than we treated the other Dunkin' Donuts in town, and so by that standard, I can't justify it, so I'm going to vote yes.
Okay. Any other discussion? All right, I have a roll call, please.
Alderman Davalos.
Nay.
Alderman Ashour.
Aye.
Alderman Hoffman.
Aye.
Alderman Bevere.
Aye.
Alderman Wilson.
Aye.
Alderman Berry.
Aye.
Alderman Goodman.
Aye.
And Alderman Widener.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, on to the rest of our agenda. We have nothing under, we have one more, I'm sorry. 6G. Alderman Davalos, did you wish to bring that forward?
Yes. I move to accept staff recommendation and approve the purchase of a new Public Works cab and chassis through the State of Illinois Joint Purchasing Program in the amount of $83,719 from Trans-Chicago Truck Group in Elmhurst, Illinois.
Second.
Motion and second discussion. Alderman Davalos.
Well, you may wonder why I would bring this up, but I'm going to vote yes, by the way, but I want to take this opportunity because something struck me as I was reading the agenda. It's kind of similar to what City Administrator Coakley said about TIF 4. I don't think an item like this should actually be passed over without noting why we can sit up here and put this on a consent agenda, just like we did a lot of money for the police roof and not really be worrying about it that much. We know it was competitively bid, but it's very different now than when I moved here like 30 years ago, but 25 years ago, when the police department was in the old city hall, and we decided to put it in the bottom of the community center, and we had a telethon to raise money to do that. So I just want to point out to people that are listening, that maybe are new to the community, that I think 3 things have happened that allow us to vote yes on this without losing sleep at night. And the first one are our TIFs, in particular TIF 1. For those of you that aren't here, TIF 1 was a paradigm shift for this community. So much of what is going on, the buildings we sit in, the way we can serve the citizens of this community, the way we can plan, so many things, and I won't go take a lot of time about this, are not just because of the TIF increment that has flowed into the city and many of the taxing districts, but the other taxes that have flowed in. So that gives us income. Number 2, the citizens of this community, and it was controversial, passed home rule. And home rule let us do some creative things. We could move money around and spend on different projects that the constraints of not being home rule did not allow us to do. And the third thing, and I will read off our agenda, sufficient funds have been included in the capital maintenance and replacement fund for this project. I was not on the council when that was passed, but that was brilliant. Every single thing from this microphone probably to this building to every police car, every public works vehicle, desk, computers, every single thing is on a master list with scheduled replacement that has an income stream into this fund, so it is paid for. And that is why, as I read over this agenda, it's like, wow, in the old days, this would have been a big deal. Because of the incredible planning and the way this community has voted on certain things, staff being brilliant enough to think of these things, the council is, previous to me, being brilliant enough to vote yes, we now can go through and replace these kinds of things so much more easily. And I just, again, I'm voting yes, but I just kind of wanted to explain to people that may not know how very well run financially. We have talked about this earlier when the presentation was made, and on page 1 it says, the city has no general obligation debt. That is fairly rare. So we can replace things on schedule without going into debt, and we don't have an obligation debt. And so I guess I just want to lay that out for a minute to people that don't know that a lot of good decisions have gone in, and you have a city that is very well run, that is financially in great shape, and this council can make decisions. We have to make sure that these new projects fit into the capital and maintenance repair plan, but we can do it, and we can do it without raising your taxes. We don't have any money going toward debt obligation, and so I just wanted to take a moment to say I think this is one of the big items on the agenda tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. Any other discussion of that item? All good points, thank you. Okay, let's do a roll call on that.
Alderman Hoffman.
Aye.
Alderman Goodman.
Aye.
Alderman Berry.
Aye.
Alderman Wilson.
Aye.
Alderman Ashour.
Aye.
Alderman Widener.
Aye.
Alderman Bevere.
Aye.
Alderman Davalos.
Aye.
Okay, we have nothing under regular agenda, nothing under unfinished business. We do have an item under new business for this evening, so could I have a motion to discuss that item? Alderman Widener?
I move to accept the item of new business, the Economic Development Representative's recommendation, and authorize staff to coordinate a plan commission courtesy review on the preliminary concept plan from Earhart Construction for the residential development of Civic Center redevelopment site number 1.
Second.
Motion and a second. Who wants to lead off? John or Ron? Ron. Our Community Development Director, Ron Menser. Ron?
Just quickly, the economic development representatives of the City Council continue to evaluate the redevelopment proposals that we've received from residential developers that have expressed interest in working with the city on the potential sale and redevelopment of Civic Center redevelopment site number 1 with detached small lot single-family homes. As part of that process, we've gotten to a point where we believe that the concept plan and related architectural plans that Earhart Construction has provided to the city seem to be most closely aligned with the goals, revised goals and objectives that the City Council recently approved for the redevelopment of the site. Given that fact, the Economic Development Work Group is recommending that the City Council authorize staff and Earhart Construction representatives to work with the Plan Commission on a courtesy review of the concept plan. From the Economic Development Representatives standpoint, the additional input and from the Plan Commission and the public that's garnered at that meeting will help further inform the Economic Development Representatives' preferred developer recommendation, the recommendation that we will present to the City Council in the coming weeks or months on what developer we believe the city should attempt to negotiate a sale and redevelopment agreement for the property.
Okay, and explain for the citizens again what a courtesy review means.
A courtesy review is an opportunity for a developer to present their concept plans to the Plan Commission. There's really nothing specific in the city ordinances that mandate certain types of information being presented, but most likely what would be presented is a concept site plan and then some building architectural design plans to give the Plan Commission and any public member that's interested an idea of what type of project is being proposed on the property, the number of units, the type of units, the general quality and nature of the product, that's a layout of the product that's proposed for the specific site. In this case, Earhart Construction is conceptual plans call for the development of 27 or show the development of 27 detached single-family homes. There's 3 different types of single-family homes that are being proposed. They are semi-custom structures, and they would be have a starting price over $400,000.
Okay, and then from the developer's perspective, it's an opportunity to make a presentation to see if there's support to put more effort into furthering that developer's idea.
That's correct, and the input that's received during that process also helps guide the developer on what additional modifications or adjustments to the plans that their concept plans would be appropriate before they make a formal application.
Okay, does everyone understand what's being asked for then? Alderman Goodman?
Can you tell us a little bit about Earhart Construction?
Earhart Construction is a privately held single-family home builder that is very active in the western suburbs. They have built a project in the city of Warrenville in the past. Westbury Court, actually right off of Batavia Road, was built by Earhart Construction. There's other single-family homes scattered in the community that Earhart Construction has built. They've built in Wheaton, Winfield. They're currently building in Lombard. They're, in my mind, a well-respected semi-custom home builder that has weathered the downturn in the residential real estate market and remains healthy and able to implement this type of project. I can tell you that they're very excited. This project fits very well with the philosophy of their company and the capabilities of their company.
And they're local.
They're very local.
And they've been in business for quite some time. I can remember them being around when I was a kid.
Yeah, multiple decades.
Yeah. Alderman Hoffman?
Were they originally contacted?
They were originally part of the group that received the city's original RFP back in 2013. At that point in time, they were committed to other projects that really prevented them from expressing any serious interest in this property. Those projects either have come to a conclusion or are nearing the end of construction, so they have capacity, you might say, within the organization to pick up another project such as this.
Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? All right, roll call, please.
Alderman Berry?
Aye.
Alderman Bevere?
Aye.
Alderman Hoffman?
No.
Alderman Wilson?
Aye.
Alderman Ashour?
Aye.
Alderman Goodman?
Aye.
Alderman Widener?
Aye.
Alderman Davalos?
Aye.
Motion carries. And just a reminder to folks that we will absolutely publicize when this courtesy hearing will be held, and we would certainly invite everyone to come and find out what the plans are and get an idea of how this has evolved over the years, and the present presentation of, at least from my perspective, being on the Economic Development Group, looks like the best plan we've had yet. And I think initially we had thought that maybe there would be 50 units on that area. That was the proposal? 41. 41? Okay, so now we're down to 27. We have listened to folks. We've reduced the density. We've got a quality builder who's interested in cooperating with us, so it's kind of exciting to see what might come out of that. So watch online to make sure you understand when this is coming up, and do come to the Plan Commission meeting and get some information, ask some questions. All right, we have no other new business. We do have a need for a closed session this evening. However, Alderman Berry, would you please give us the motion and the citation?
I'd like to make a motion to go into closed session for the purpose of 5 ILCS 120/2 (C) 5, the purchase or lease of real property for the use of the public body. including meetings held for the purpose of discussing whether a particular parcel should be acquired.
Second.
Motion and a second. May I have a roll call, please?
Alderman Hoffman,
Aye.
Alderman Wilson,
Aye.
Alderman Bevere,
Aye.
Alderman Berry,
Aye.
Alderman Goodman,
Aye.
Alderman Davalos,
Aye.
Alderman Widener,
Aye.
Alderman Ashower.
Aye.
Thank you, Emily. We will not be conducting any business after our closed session this evening, so you are free to go about your business. Thank you for your attention this evening.